Alabama LSU 32-31 was an absolute classic on ESPN. It went to overtime, and it was one of, how do I put this? Because it was just going back and forth, and you kind of knew where it was headed. No team seemed to seize control. There was a little bit of a run by Alabama. There was a run by LSU. No one really separated themselves from each other. It was close throughout, including at halftime. And when we went to the half, it was 7-6 LSU at the half. Emory scored the only touchdown of the first half. And we're kind of sitting there in studio saying, looking around and like, are we going back to one of those 9-6 LSU classics, LSU Alabama classics, 12-10, whatever the case might be. And what ended up happening, and I think, was Brian Kelly planting his flag across the country saying, no matter what, you can say what you want about me coming from Notre Dame. You can say about what I did at Notre Dame. You can ask and question it. After yesterday, folks, you cannot tell me that Brian Kelly is not one of the top 3 to 5 minds and coaches in college football. End of story. Any doubters that are still out there, go away. Because what he has done in a very short amount of time in Baton Rouge is nothing short of remarkable based on what was left after the Ed Orgeron era, which got LSU a national championship. But based on what was left with him, guys in the portal, late in recruiting, young offensive line, new quarterback coming in from Arizona State. To me, Brian Kelly has done the most impressive coaching job in season, because they lose to Florida State week 1. And we were on here. You guys heard all the chatter. Oh, no. What did we do? Was Brian Kelly the right guy for the job? Did we make a mistake? Is there something that he's not going to be able to catch on with in the SEC, even though it was an out-of-conference game against Florida State? Well, now look. Do they want the Florida State game back? Yeah, no question. They lose to Tennessee, no shame in that. They now control their destiny to go play for the SEC championship. They already beat Ole Miss, who's got 1 loss on the season, to LSU, who now plays at Alabama. All Brian Kelly has done is with Jaden Daniels at quarterback, who struggled a year ago at Arizona State, struggled in the early part of the season. All he's done is now made LSU a legitimate college football playoff conversation team. Well, wait, Matt, they've got 2 losses. Yeah, I get it. They do have 2 losses. If they went out, stay with me here. If they went out to go to 10-2 on the season, at 10-2, Georgia is going to be number 1 the rest of the way. Again, I don't see any slip-ups on their schedule. Georgia is going to be number 1 the rest of the way. If LSU goes to the SEC championship and beats the number 1 undefeated team in the country, for the sake of this argument, let's call it 31-28. If LSU goes 10-2 and wins the SEC championship and Georgia's got 1 loss, are you telling me the committee is not going to take a look at this and say, wait a second, that team has now, since loss X to Tennessee, has gone on and beaten Alabama. They've run through the rest of their schedule. They've won the SEC championship. I'm telling you, there's no world in which the SEC champion is not getting into the college football playoff. And so you have a legitimate now, what Tennessee can't afford, as we kind of look through how Tennessee can still get there. Tennessee would need Georgia to beat LSU in the national championship and have something ahead of them fall to pieces, because they're still in this thing. But LSU, Alabama, and the decision, what the LSU, Alabama game did for college football last night, I mean, you're looking at a world now, we led with Clemson, where Clemson and Alabama, in all likelihood, will not be a part of the college football playoff. And this thing's been going since 2014, and those teams have been in it just about every year. In fact, those teams have been a part of it since its inception. Not going to happen this year. And that, to me, new blood, cheers to new blood in the college football playoff, because that is absolutely incredible for the sport when now we're going to be talking about some other teams being able to get in.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.